Welcome to the MFR Coaches podcast, where we talk about how you can create a six-figure MFR practice. I'm your host, Heather Hommel. Not only have I been practicing MFR for 11 years, I'm also a life and business coach, especially for MFR therapists. My goal is for you to understand how to get fully booked, how to talk to your clients, and how to make sure they understand what's possible for them with MFR treatment. I'm here to help you stop under-earning, overworking, and burning out. I'll lend support so you can create the MFR practice you've always wanted. Learn how you can do it too, even if you live in a tiny town, and even if you're just starting out, and even if you've ran your practice for years. Let's go. Hey, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the MFR Coaches podcast. Today, I'm going to be having a chat with Stephanie Wilson. Stephanie joined Foundations back in March of 2025 and has been going gangbusters with building her business ever since. She's the owner of Trusting Touch Myofascial Release. She lives in Trinidad, Colorado. Welcome to the show. We're so glad you're here, Stephanie.
Thanks for having me. This is really exciting. I listened to this a lot in the past, and yeah, the client stories were like really intriguing for me.
Awesome. And now here you are. You're going to share your story with everybody.
Yeah,
let's do it. Okay. So if you can remember back to March, what made you join Foundations? Like what was going on in your life and business like that made you pull the trigger and get in the program?
Well, I had been saving. I knew you had the payment plan, and I'm like, well, I didn't want to do that, but I thought I'm going to save and I'm going to make sure I can do this. I was in a job that I was not happy in. I was exhausted. I was extremely burnout, had been there, done that for a lot of years, and just saw what everybody else was creating. And I'm like, if they can do it, by gosh, I can do it too. And I want that. I want the freedom. I don't want to be burnt out. I want to actually help people without being controlled by insurance and systems and all the things. And number one, I just wanted more time as a mom. I've always wanted more time as a mom. And my son is 16 as of this past Sunday. And I'm finally getting to the point where I can have that.
Oh, I love that. I love that. So were you thinking, okay, this program will help me get back some of my time?
Yes, that was my biggest hope.
Okay.
All the rest of it was kind of a bonus. Like the money thing, I'm like, I can't even imagine making that much money. And do I need that much money? But the more I thought about it, I'm like, this is just kind of the bonus, but having control of my own schedule, actually helping people, feeling fulfilled and having the family time. I want that.
Awesome. Okay, we're going to explore your journey inside Foundations in a minute. But before that, why don't you tell people, how did you even become an MFR therapist? Like what got you into this work?
So when I graduated college in 2006 as a PTA, my professor had said, hey, if anybody gets one of these really funky brochures in the mail sometime with a guy in a leather vest and ponytail on the front, she said, just go and experience it. It's kind of wild. They're really expensive classes, but if you ever get a chance, go. And I was in the middle of dealing with a bulged disc in my back. Traditional PT didn't work. Chiropractor didn't work. Had an appointment with a neurosurgeon and couldn't do anything I wanted to do. And one of the flyers comes in the mail and I thought, you know what? I saved up my pennies. My company wasn't paying for continuing ed. And so I thought, I'm going to do what I want. I'm going to go to that class. No expectations whatsoever, but a weekend away. And I went, and the first lumbosacral decompression we did on each other, I sat up and I thought, oh crap, my back really hurts. I shouldn't have let him touch me. But the next morning I woke up and it was like I was 18 again. The pain was absolutely gone. And I thought, why isn't everybody doing this? This is how I want to help people. And I've never taken a different continuing education course since.
Wow, that's amazing. So then you started to take all of the seminars.
Yeah, I started every year just taking one more and did a skill enhancement seminar. I sold a horse to go to that.
Wow.
Yeah, that was kind of a cool deal. So I did a skill enhancement. And then this year will be the very first year that I'm taking 2 seminars back to back.
Okay, that's exciting. What are those going to be and when are you going?
I'm going to do Quantum Leap and Fascial Cranium in Verde Valley in September. So I can't wait. And I'm going to meet some other people from the group there.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Do you have an MFR coach t-shirt?
I do.
Okay. Let's see a picture of you there in the t-shirt.
We got it.
Awesome. I'll be looking for you. Okay. So when you learned this skill, the skill of myofascial release, you brought it back into the clinic where you were working for someone else. How was that received? How did that go over? Were you able to still practice MFR or did you need to just keep doing traditional? What was that like?
I was doing home health at the time. I
Okay.
was looking for a big home health company and I tried to add it in wherever I could. And I think I did occipital releases wrong for a long time.
Sure. We've all been there.
Yeah, but it was still working. Like
Yeah.
people were still like, wow. And it was just like over the years, it just built more excitement because I'm like, this is possible. This really works.
Yeah. That's great. Okay, let's flash forward a little bit. When you joined coaching, what was your work life like? Did you already have a business? Like, just give us a picture of what was going on for you.
Yeah, so I already had a business. I had just gotten my massage license last August.
Okay, cool.
That was like a hard fought win. Pretty awesome. But
Yeah.
I did have a business and I was able to open up in August or reopen, I should say, in August of 2024. And at the time, I was working 5 days a week at a fast paced orthopedic outpatient PT clinic. And I couldn't wait to get out of there and join coaching. I don't remember how many people I was seeing when I first started. It might have been 4 a week, like seeing people in the evenings, but that like quickly got out of hand, which was a great problem to have. So within a month, I had told my boss, who is super wonderful, that I wanted to cut down to 3 days a week and I'd work 3 8-hour days and then see my clients on the days in between. And he was kind of, sad, but okay with that.
Yeah.
And that filled pretty quickly and was keeping rolling. So that was exciting. And in the back of my mind, I just kept thinking, okay, if I save X, Y, and Z, I can start coaching by, hopefully March was my goal. And so I kept just kind of saving my pennies. And then I knew it was time when I started coaching. I'm like, I'm busy. I'm, getting to that point again where I have to cut back. And I was really afraid to fill another day. Like I didn't know if I could fill a third day of 4 clients a day. But I just kind of took the jump and I told my boss again, I said, okay, I'm going to cut back to 2 days a week. And so I took the jump and I never had a day that I was not booked. It was full from the get-go. I started coaching. And that was the beginning of March.
Okay. What was your rate when you first started coaching with me?
It was 95 an hour for MFR. And I also offered massage for 75. And I had some other little weird things in between, like at the time, if you wanted hot stones or whatever, which I never really wanted to do massage. But then I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. Maybe I'll do it too.
Yeah. I mean, it happens to the best of us. I think in like massage school, we're totally sold on like how much people want massage and like that's what you're getting trained in. So it's like in you when you graduate.
Yeah.
This is what you should do. Create a spa-like experience. Yeah. Okay. So you enter into coaching, you're charging 95, 75 and a different rate for hot stones. What was your first impression when you went through like raise your rate boot camp?
Well, first off, I couldn't wait to know what number came out, because I'm like, I had a feeling I'd wind up where I did. But then I was just like, this is a totally different sell than what I've been doing. And yeah, I wasn't sure how people would take that. I was really afraid of other people's thoughts, my own thoughts.
Sure.
That was the biggest issue. And it took me a long time to get over myself.
It's still only been like 140 days or whatever. So it hasn't been like.
Yeah. So I still have some thoughts, but that's another question. So I know at one point, like I could have, depending on how I worked the numbers a little bit, I could have landed at 170 and I just could not stomach that.
Mm-hmm.
I could not stomach that. And then when I looked at things, I'm like, I'm really kind of between 165 and 170. And so I just gave myself the stupid, weird number of 167. But I do love it now because it's just kind of quirky and it is what it is and it's working.
Yeah, it's working. Okay. So you raised your rate from 95 to 167.
Yes.
Which is like pretty wild, right?
It was like almost doubling my rate. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Like, how's it going now?
Well, it's going good. People are coming.
You're fully booked.
Yeah. Clients are coming. New clients are finding me online and they're booking. It's not a big issue like it was. It's totally different.
Yeah. And what else has raising your rate to 167 allowed you to do?
Well, I've been able to quit my part-time job, which is the biggest thing.
Yeah.
I mean, that's going to change my whole nervous system. That has been an issue for a long time. I was seeing 2 to 3 patients every hour, managing a tech. So that is behind me. And that is so exciting. So that's the biggest thing. But then to look forward at what it's going to allow me to do, I'll be able to actually save for an actual retirement, not just put in, whatever my employer matches, like an actual retirement. Have the classes paid for ahead of time, choose what I want to do, where I want to go, and have the time with my family.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Let's talk about that like time freedom aspect of like not working 5 days a week, then going home to work in your business. What is it like? Fully booked for you is 15?
16.
16. So what is it like seeing 16 people a week? And then I'm sure you have a few more hours of admin, but let's say you work 20 hours a week. What is it like to have all of those other hours available to be doing what you want to do?
Well, I haven't gotten to that yet. Last week was my first week. I still worked at the PTA job last week. And this week I have family in. I have kind of clients scattered everywhere. I'm only seeing 12. And next week is the real deal. But knowing what it's like already, I was able to schedule my own treatment, which I drive 2 hours for. I was able to schedule that without it being at 8 o'clock in the morning and then having to come back and then treat clients in the afternoon. So that's huge.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then to have the admin time and the day in between, just to think to sit down for a couple hours to really devote to the business, to keep it growing, to do the things and just take care of it is going to feel really good. I'm looking forward to that. And then I have horses too. And I really miss riding my horses. I used to be a professional horse trainer and loved it and married and kids and things changed. And so now riding once a week is a big deal for me, but I'm hoping to get back to a couple days a week. And this is going to allow for that.
Mm-hmm. I love that. I think we talked earlier, it might have been before we started recording, but about you having a 16-year-old and really wanting to be able to spend time with your son.
Yeah.
What do you imagine? Like, I'm assuming he's got like 2 to 3 years of high school left now at this point. What do you imagine the difference is going to be now that you're going to be able to spend more time, knowing that the time is also limited with him getting ready to probably leave the house when he's 18?
It's going to be so great. No more scarcity mentality. That has been a huge effect in my life in the past. And I feel like that's already improving. And we actually homeschool too. So through all this, I homeschooled.
Oh, wow.
And thankfully, he is like a really great kid. And I've been able to kind of write a planner and then grade his work on the weekends. And he just does it. But it's been rushed. I'm burnt out. I'm like, I don't want to grade one more essay. I don't want to do it. And so now I'm like, okay, I've signed him up for some college classes in town. And just to be able to like put the time in without being like, okay, let's get this done. Let's get snappy. I've got 5 minutes to look at this. That's going to be really nice. We have a good relationship. And so I feel like it'll just be a sweet last couple of years before he's ready to move out.
Mm-hmm. I think that's really important too. And like the sweetness of it and having like the pace of something that you haven't had before. So the quality of the time is going to be totally different.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever had a pace like this ever my whole life. So I'm curious to see how I handle it, but I can really see myself enjoying life a whole lot more.
Yeah, you'll be able to get back to your hobbies like riding horses.
Yeah, or just sitting down. I don't.
Yeah, or just sitting.
Yeah.
Get a break. Yeah, and I think we miss out because we are all busy, just as a society, and there seems to be a lot of, I don't know, clout around being busy. I even hear that, I just got back from cervical thoracic and I just like always have my ears open to all of the discussions that are going on, and people are seeing like 20, 25, 30 clients a week. And that seems to be like, if I have more clients than my business is better, but then they're charging like $75 an hour. And I'm just like, you are overworking and being so like, would you choose to work? This is my question for everybody. So for everybody listening to this, would you choose to work that hard if you could make the same amount working less hours? Like, would you choose that for yourself? And I think that's a question we all need to start asking ourselves is, would I choose this on purpose if there was another choice? Because I think the answer is almost always no.
I would say absolutely for me. My body would not hold up for that, at least at this point.
Yeah. Well, I just need a nap every now and then,
It's not because I'm lazy. I just like naps. Oh my gosh. Okay. So let's talk about your experience inside the coaching program. What did you imagine it was going to be like? And then what was the reality of it? Was there anything that was like kind of shocking?
I feel like I had a good picture of what it was going to be like. I listened to all the podcasts before and just was like, I can't wait to get into this and really get all the juicy details and the help beyond the podcast. So what I thought it was going to be like, I guess is pretty similar. I've got the workbook. I sit down. I've got all kinds of notebooks now to evaluate what's going on and then to write down all my next action steps. And I have Post-it notes of, okay, I need to do X, Y, and Z. But it's pretty encouraging. Like the camaraderie between like everybody in the group is really good. I know we're all busy and it's not like we sit and hang out on the phone or text each other all day.
Yeah.
But just to have the support and just to know on the inside that other people are doing this always kind of drives me on because I'm like, okay, if they can do this, so can I. So that is super helpful.
Yeah, I love that idea too. And I'm glad that that's the culture of our group is that if someone can do this, so can I. And like the willingness to be vulnerable and show up when things aren't working is such a helpful aspect in our group too. Because we've got people that have been in coaching for years that still come back with a struggle and share it and share their vulnerability and show everyone like, hey, I might have been here for years. I might have a 6-figure business. And also like, this is a struggle that I'm having. So then people that are listening can be supportive, also be like, okay, if that happens to me, here's some of the ways I can handle this. So I don't have to be miserable. And I think it's just so brave to show up in those ways, share what's going on and get the help immediately rather than thinking, oh, I have a 6-figure business, so I don't need the help anymore. Or I've been in business for 20 years. I don't need anybody's help.
Yes. Hearing other people's shares and their questions in the coaching helps me tremendously. Even if it's not my issue now, it gives me an idea of how I want to handle things in the future. And it's just really good. And for the verbiage, I have a hard time finding words for a lot of things. And it's really helpful for the verbiage to hear other people, how they're wording things, how they're saying things and framing it to go forward and be more clear about it.
Yeah, I agree. And I think hearing things over and over again too, like maybe this was an issue for you before, now it's someone else's issue, but you're hearing it and thinking like, oh, I survived that, or like, I know they're going to get through that, all of those things, but the repetition of the problems, because everybody has the same issues, right? Just different flavor, maybe different day, different dollar amount, but it's normal to want to have success, and success does not impede your ability to help your clients on their journey to getting the results that they want. Like it's not, if you make money, then your clients are going to somehow not have a good experience. It's like you making money is going to help you create that amazing experience for your clients because you're going to have no resentment. You're probably going to feel more relaxed in your body because you're probably able to afford to go and pay for treatment for yourself. You're not relying on seminars for treatment. You're relying on seminars for education. All of those things make a huge difference and an impact overall on how you're going to treat your patients.
Absolutely.
Okay. So if you think back to when you first joined and you were working 5 days a week in your job, and then you cut down, and then you cut down again. Could you have imagined that you would have been leaving by July when you joined in March?
Absolutely not. No. I think the first time you coached me, what your comment was you need to pick a date. You need to pick a date to be done. And that like mortified me. It was like, how do I just pick some day? I have no idea what's going to happen. And I definitely froze up and I tossed it around in my head and I never really settled on a date. I kept thinking around the 1st of September, maybe the beginning of October after getting back from my quantum leap and fascial cranium classes, but I never committed to it.
Yeah, which is okay because you did actually make a bigger commitment sooner by just entertaining the question, right? And then looking at your facts and noticing like, oh, I think we did a calculation, right? Of like how much it was costing you to go to work versus like open the day up to see patients when you had a waiting list.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And then you were like, oh, I could actually make more if I just quit.
Yeah. And you really helped me to have the conversation with my husband. That was like a big thing. Like I just didn't really have the words with him. And it was so simple. It was so easy. I just had to get out of my own head and say a few words. And he was like, yeah. He's like, I think you should run for it. Go for it. See what happens.
Right. He's probably your biggest fan.
Yeah. especially when I get cancellation so he can come in and get a treatment.
Yeah. But I think we think our spouses are going to be freaked out by what we're doing. And really, if we bring them along on the ride and we like kind of fill them in on what our thought process is, a lot of the times they're like our biggest cheerleaders. And they're the ones that help us to leave sooner or do the things sooner because they believe for us that everything is going to be fine, right?
Yeah.
That's awesome. I'm glad that was helpful. What do you think is your biggest win so far in your business in the program?
Raising my rate and actually, well, I have a couple.
Okay, share them all. I'm here for all of it.
Well, raising my rate and actually selling packages. I mean, my rate changed into effect 23 days ago. And I was really wondering what would happen on the 1st of July. But at this point, I've sold 3 packages at my new rate. And I have somebody booked out that as soon as they show up, they'll pay for a 4th one. And new clients
And
are
that just started happening. Let's like back up for a minute.
Yes.
That just started happening because you're like, well, no one's bought a package. And I kept asking you questions. And finally I just said, how many times have you sold, like offered the package? And you were like, never. Or something like that. And I was like, well, people can only buy what you offer. So if you don't ever offer it, you'll probably never sell one, right? And then you just started making offers.
Yeah, I guess I am. Like, I never really put together like the words making offers and what I'm actually doing together. I was like, that's a little foggy for me. But yeah, it's working. There's definitely things I need to improve on. But as far as other wins go, the being booked out, I'm still booked out 2 weeks and I have 35 visits ahead of me in August. That doesn't even count the rest of July.
Yeah.
So I feel safe. Like I feel safe in my body. And that was a big fear for me that I would quit and then people weren't showing up or I wasn't booked and I'd have all these problems. And I just have to keep feeding it. But in the same fact, it's not that hard.
Right. What does a typical day look for you when you're feeding your business? Like, what does that look like?
Ooh, sometimes I wake up and I'm like, I'm going to put this on Instagram or Facebook and I have a really great idea. And some days I come to my office, I treat 4 clients and I still think, I don't know. And so I come up with something to put on Facebook, something to put on Instagram. I'd love to go downtown and grab lunch. And if I see somebody that's got a cane, got a limp, got an anything, I'm like, hey, this is who I am. This is what I do. Here's my card. Come see me. So I kind of give a quick little blurb. And then also I do the farmer's market, which that is really feeding my business. I have a lot of new clients coming from that. I do that every couple of weeks. I don't do it every week.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's kind of the feeding my business. And then my rolling to-do list of, I don't know, I even have Christmas cards on there to remember to send Christmas cards to referral sources. We talked about that in coaching the other day. And, keeping a case of water in here so every client gets a water when they walk out the door. Just little things that keep every client experience hopefully top notch.
Yeah. And it's not a lot of like stress to do these things that you're talking about. It's like you've come up with a plan. Now you just execute it like over and over and over again. And the one thing that we're not really touching on that I think is a good thing to share with people is your willingness to get things wrong, evaluate it, and keep going. Like you haven't done a lot of like start stopping. You've tried something. It's gone terribly wrong. And then you get coached on it and you've been evaluating everything you do, like your objections, your sales conversations, everything, and your willingness to do things before you're perfect at it. Because all of these little micro mistakes you make as you go are really what builds that master level sales. Basically, like you're becoming a master salesperson in the art of selling myofascial release, which is your product, right, to your clients. And now it's like easier and easier. Imagine how hard it was before you sold a package and now you're on your 4th one in 23 days.
Yeah, it was very hard because I didn't have the verbiage. I think that's been the biggest thing for me is to get the verbiage from you, from other people. I know people share like 3-minute videos talking with John online and just hearing his verbiage so that people are getting what they're there for. I'm not just coming up with some verbiage to make people buy it, but to actually like, this is how it's going to help you. This is how it works. This is what I would recommend you do. And I've got people saying yes to it, but I also have people saying, maybe I'll come back, but then they call and they come back. And I don't look at it as a loss.
Yeah.
I definitely don't see it as a loss.
Right. I think you're really good at being resilient. So when somebody is a no, like you're not making that mean anything negative about you. And you're more so like, well, they'll be back later.
Yeah.
And when you just have that like shift in thought of like, well, they'll be back later instead of, oh, I'm doing something wrong. It really makes what you do next a different story because a lot of people would just shut down. Whereas you, through your self-coaching and through doing evaluations, you just keep figuring it out. Like, I'll figure it out. I'll try this, try that.
I have to keep going and it just keeps working.
Yeah. What would you say to people who think that posting on social media is exhausting and they're going to burn out and like having to meet people and tell them that you're an MFR therapist and making offers to help is like too exhausting? What would you say?
I think you're only helping yourself. And it really, once you put the energy out, it's not that hard. As far as telling people about, my business and what I do and I see him in person, my son is mortified by it. He's like, please don't do that when you're with me. But I'm like, it takes 5 seconds for me to tell somebody, hey, this is what I do. I'm on Main Street. Come see me. And what it generates in the future is just worth it. Can't say that I've gotten a whole lot of people that way as of right now. But yeah, to tell somebody else, I mean, I don't know. You just have to do it. Like, it's not really a question. You just do it. If you're going to have the business, that's how it works.
Yeah. Being visible, I think, is just so underrated. And many of us just by default want to hide and not just have a word of mouth business where other people are doing the word of mouth and we just sit here and treat the patients. And I think that's the very slow way to build a business. And that's, I think if anyone's listening to this, check into your business. Are you dependent on other people for your clients? Are you depending on other people to grow your business? Or are you willing to take responsibility and show up and be visible in your community and be visible for our profession to make it mainstream? That's really what it takes, is each and every one of us as therapists stepping up and trying to be 10 times more visible than we already are so we can make MFR mainstream. It's like just total bullshit waiting for word of mouth to take it over. It's taken 60 years. How much longer do we want to wait?
I just had a client leave here. It was her second treatment. She was my first one to buy a package.
I love her.
Yeah, I do love her. And I can't wait to see her again. She gave me a 5-star Google review within 30 minutes of her first treatment. She came in today and was like, I have told everybody about you. My dad's coming from Oklahoma. I want him to get a treatment. I want my daughter to get a treatment. I've told all my employees to come to you. She's like, but I think it's a money thing. And the word of mouth is awesome. I love it. She's even got a chiropractor that wants my business cards and a new referral source. Yeah. However, none of those people have called me except for her daughter and gotten on my books.
Right. Because it's probably all coming out of her mouth through the lens of, I think these people can't afford it. That is why we want to control the narrative, right? That is why we want to be the ones informing people about what it is that we do. We love word of mouth. We love referrals, but there's a difference when it's not filtered through someone else's lens of, oh, these people can't afford it. And we have to really be careful that we don't have that lens.
I struggle with that. Yeah.
I want you to think about this little coaching for you, a little coachy coach, who you had to be resourceful to sell your horse to do the thing that you wanted to do. That's called resourcefulness. And you're resourceful and you figure it out, right? Same thing like when I wanted to become a coach, I sold my pontoon that we loved as it was beloved. A horse would be more so beloved, but like allowing people to figure it out, knowing that they are so resourceful. And I think about that with my own program, like it's $3,000 to join. It is a big ask, right? But so many people can figure it out and they know they want it and they will figure it out. It's not for me to figure it out for them. Same with like when you go and get treatment, you can figure it out.
Yeah, absolutely. And I feel like there's like a time for everything. Like there's a time for people to get MFR. There's a time for people to go spend all their money on vitamins. But after they come see us and they realize that, say, the vitamins or their fascioblaster tool just isn't cutting it, they can put out the little spending on that and then come in for treatment. And you said something about that in your coaching, and that really hit me because I see so many people that are kind of like, I don't know, and they kind of hem and haw a little bit before they come back. And I'm like, they're probably spending $50 a month on Epsom salts alone to take a bath, and they might as well spend that $50 here and actually, get a long-term result.
Yeah. And that's something you can say to your clients to overcome their objection. Like, how much money are you spending on these things that like aren't really working? What if you quit spending it on that and you just funneled it into this to see if this helps you? Like, you literally have nothing to lose. The worst thing that will happen will be nothing because it would come out of the same budget.
Yeah.
And that's how I feel about people like coming up with money for coaching. It's like, how much money are you spending on ads that aren't working? How much money are you losing week to week not being fully booked? What if you could get fully booked within 90 days of working with me? What if
Yeah,
you
and it's not even about the money, the energy that goes into it. I know for me, it's an energy issue. You get your energy back, which is really a big part of people's pain and everything else because they're stuck in these patterns.
Yeah. What if they can work more because of your help?
Yeah, or work less.
Yeah, or work less. I think just thinking about all of the objections people have is going through all of the ways this helps them actually make money. Because sometimes we think, oh, well, we're selling a service that costs money instead of makes people money. But how does it actually make them money? So I know when my back is not killing me, I am much more creative and I'm going to say something that's going to cause a sale and I'm going to make money from that. So I always think like keeping myself in tip-top condition. And I think this is how MFR therapists should think about their buying treatment themselves too, is like, how much money does this make you when you spend, $250 on a session once a month or twice a month? What's the return on investment that you get from that because you feel good? It's huge. It could be huge. It could be thousands of dollars.
Yeah, it's awesome.
All right. Is there anything else you want to share about your story with our podcast listeners before we wrap up?
No, I'm just excited to move forward. If there's anything else we can pause here, but if there's anything about the other baloney stuff that you want to share, great. If not, we can just move on and be happy.
Okay. Are there any other like wins or any other like quirky things that you've gone through that you think would be relevant for people to know about? Or any like words of wisdom you want to share with people that are maybe thinking about joining the program, but they're like, oh, I don't really know. Like I've been in coaching before with someone else and it didn't work out, or I'll just go and log on to Stephanie's website and just kind of like copy what she has. Like, is it as easy as that?
Well, I don't know. I kind of blipped out for a second there, but I'm already thinking about coaching this. Well, I guess it was Monday when we talked about it. I had the whole issue with my business last year and wound up paying for EMDR, spending all this time and energy moving clients around to go to these sessions. Did me no good. And then in coaching on Monday, you were like, why don't you just reframe the story? And I'm like, well, what a novel idea. Like, who would have thought of that? And that's huge for me.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, you never know, right? You never know what is going to come out of coaching or what you're even going to get coached on, but bringing up what you were going through and having just the right thing said to you at the right time can change everything.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's super healing. And I've even just caught myself thinking about some things and I'm literally rewriting it on paper because I'm like, there's a lot of good in here that I am, noticing, but just skimming over.
Yeah, I think that's super important. One of my coaches helped me once because I just tend to be like, my brain is very negative and it's not a problem. And I wouldn't change how I am because it also helps me do the things that I do. But having that space to reframe things and being like, you know what, actually things work out for me, or that wasn't really that bad of a thing, or, this thing happened, but I don't need to perseverate on it. Just having that space for it to be different or for you to perceive it differently now. Like it could have been traumatizing at the time, but you're different now. Is it the same level of trauma? Like, is it necessary for me to tell myself this story 10 times a day? Or like, could we get down to once a day,
Yeah, absolutely.
That's another thing we should point out. Like you've been in the program since March, you already are having 10K months because you qualified for the 10K call and you were on it.
Yeah.
Like that's badass.
It's exciting. And I won't lie because I was like, I will move whoever I got to move to get to that coaching call.
Yeah, it's a bonus call we do.
Yeah, that was super helpful. I'd listened to other ones and I'm like, I need to be on this call. There's a lot of good things that go on there that don't in the other calls.
Mm-hmm.
However, I did feel like an imposter because I'm like, I told everybody my rate changes July 1st and buy as much as you want before the rate changes. So I'm like, that's the only reason I'm making this money. But
that was a business decision you made to make $10,000 in a month. That's a good business decision.
Yeah. And now it's rolling forward though, too. Like I'm looking at my numbers already this week and it's only Wednesday. And I'm like, and I have family in town. I'm only seeing 12 people. I'm like, holy crap. Like this is really happening.
Yeah.
So it's super good.
That's awesome. And I was looking at your numbers from your reports. You've already 5 times your return on investment for your $3,000 investment in money that you've made since you joined the program.
Awesome. Wow.
Yeah, more than 5 times it. So that's really fun.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations. Like I love having you in the program. I love watching just all of the steps that you go through from when you join to like when you leave a job. And I know that the leaving the job is still really fresh, but there's so much more to come for you. And when you start having months where everybody's paying your new rate, it's really going to change things. And having more than enough money creates even more freedom.
Yeah, I'm excited for that. It's going to be a new experience, way to experience life for me.
Did you ever have a $10,000 month as a PTA?
Absolutely not.
Now look at you.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And it's a lot more fun.
Yeah. And this is just the beginning.
Yeah. I'm excited. I have a hard time sometimes because I'm like, I feel like it's just going to end. Like this is just going to end someday. And so I have to tell myself, like, I'm just going to keep doing the next thing and things are going to work out.
Yeah. And I think it's just practicing that this is all going to end someday, or this, I don't know when this is going to end, is probably going to come up, but you can just say, and also this is working out and it might keep continuing to work out. It's possible for this to just keep working out.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. Just shifting your thought 1 degree is so helpful, but while also not shaming yourself for having the thought that you can't control.
Absolutely. Well, I think when I started coaching, I started with the belief work. And I mean, I can get on a train and just think about it all day long. And so I was like really working it. And in 2 days, I had 5 calls for new clients. I was already booked, but I had 5 calls for new clients. And I'm like, it works. This stuff works. And it's very simple.
Yeah. And you can always go back to it, because I think most people's idea is like, I need a marketing plan. I need to do this. I need to do that. And it's really less about doing things and more about, what do you believe about yourself and what do you believe about your clients and what do you believe about MFR? And when you get really into your true beliefs around that and you clean up all of the garbage that you don't know is really going on in your brain, it sets you up to be in a completely different position when you sell, when you talk about MFR, all of the things when you're treating. When you're believing that you're a good therapist, when you're believing that MFR works, when you're believing that your clients are smart and reliable and responsible and resourceful, it's a totally different experience than when you're like, I don't have enough clients and none of this works and I can't guarantee it. And, like when you go down that route, it's a completely different situation in your office, how you feel versus when
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. Well, just keep on keeping on. I'd love to probably interview you again, like 6 months or a year from now, and do a check-in and see where you're at.
Yeah, I'll be ready.
All right, we'll do it. Okay. Why don't you tell people where they can find you and remind them the name of your business so they can look you up and send you referrals?
My business is Trusting Touch Myofascial Release Therapy in Trinidad, Colorado. I have a Google listing. You can find me on Google. You can find me on Instagram, Facebook. I do have a website. The address is probably too long for me to.
We'll put it in the show notes. We'll have a link in the show notes.
Okay.
Yeah. So all of that without like a quick URL and a fancy website. Stephanie has created all of that. I just want to point that out for everyone who's thinking, I need a website before I join and all this fancy stuff. You just don't. Join coaching. It's open and available. Go to themfrcoach.com/foundation to get more information on how and where to join and whatever specials we have currently. I'm also running regular webinars on how to sell MFR to anyone in any situation. So go to themfrcoach.com/webinar to find the next scheduled live webinar, and I will see you there. Stephanie, thank you so much for joining. It's been a pleasure to interview you. Thanks for being an awesome member in our group for people to see what is possible. I just really appreciate you sharing your story with everyone. And for everyone else, we'll see you next week on another episode of the MFR Coaches Podcast. Bye for now. Thanks for listening to the MFR Coaches Podcast. If you're ready to grow your myofascial release practice, make sure to sign up for my next free training. These live webinars are designed to help you take real steps towards building a fully booked, profitable business. You can save your seat and find the latest dates at themfrcoach.com/webinar. And if you're looking for more support, the Foundations program is now open year-round. Inside, you'll get coaching, tools, and community to help you get fully booked and stay that way without burning out. One last thing before you go. My brand new book, Your MFR Practice Starts Here, is now available. It's a must-read for any MFR therapist who wants to build a business that actually works. You can grab your copy on Amazon and get your companion guide by going to themfrcoach.com/book. Start implementing right away. I'll see you in the next episode.